There's going to eventually be a time when video game studios have to ask themselves, is it to their benefit to hire these DEI consultants to work on their games? Because you would think if a studio is going to spend the money to actually bring in an outside consultant, you would imagine that it's because there's something of value that they bring to the table. But we've seen time and time again, not only do these DEI consultants not actually provide anything of substance, but their involvement with the product is actually detrimental to its bottom line. We have this article from That Park Place talking about the DEI consultancy company, Sweet Baby Inc., and the latest disaster that it's actually being associated with. Unknown 9 Awakening, the next Sweet Baby Inc. game, already looks like a complete and utter financial disaster. The Sweet Baby Inc. infected Unknown 9 Awakening from developer Reflector Entertainment, that is published by Bandai Namco, already looks to be a complete and utter financial disaster. The game, which released on October 17th, currently sits in position 794 on Steam's top sellers list and just 349 on Steam's DB's most wish-listed upcoming Steam games list. And if you actually look at the current player count for that game, right now it's at its peak as of time of recording at 240 players. But still, for a game that costs this much, I've heard estimates from 50 million to 200 million because we don't know the actual budget. So let's just split the difference and say $100 million budget for a game like this. 240 players is not a whole lot. Now, I could be generous and say maybe it's because this game is still new. People haven't heard about it. Maybe give it some time and more people will jump on board. And I could grant that premise, but you'll have to get a lot more people playing this game in order to make up the difference with how much they spent on it. But I'll go back to the article because that's just something that we can only speculate on since we don't know how much they actually spent on it. Furthermore, Bandai Namco collaborated with streamer and former Game Informer writer Marcus Stewart to stream the game alongside creative director Christopher Rizzogno. And according to Twitch Tracker, the entire stream on Twitch only received a peak viewership of 387, and its average viewership was just 274. So not a lot of people watching this game. It seems like there's really not much of a market for it, or maybe it's simply because I can hear the argument being made that maybe it's because this particular streamer isn't really that popular. So that's why people weren't watching his stream, because if I was to stream this game, I'm sure there would be no viewership either because not enough people actually know me. So yeah, I can understand that. As of writing, the stream received a total of just 8,900 views. For comparison, the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero early access trailer received a total of 84,570 views. Over on YouTube, the video performed marginally better based on total views. The stream currently has 9,210 views, but it already has almost a 2-to-1 negative ratio. It currently has 257 likes compared to 428 dislikes. And I actually went over on YouTube to take a look at that myself, and you can see it right here. But it has a little bit more likes at 278 now, but take a look at that dislike ratio, 1.5K. So this is really downvoted on here. And if you actually take a look at some of the comments, they're not really that much better. The dozens of people compromising the modern audience left abandoned by Concord, shut down with love this. As for the rest of us, back to the toxic masculinity of Space Marines 2 or Helldivers 2, not buying this trash. Where are the hell demons and the chainsaws and the fireballs and the giant swords and all the cool stuff games are supposed to have? 274 people ready to buy this game. Unknown 9 is winning. The devs didn't even try. What's the point of releasing this trash? The graphics, the animation, the gameplay, it all looks so bad. It puts the fires in the bag or it gets the hose again. Modern audience, you need to support this game so they can make more in the future. Yes, all 78 of them. And that's kind of the big takeaway when it comes to all this is when they make games like this, they try to pander to what they call the modern audience. And time and time again, we've seen the modern audience just doesn't exist. It's a figment of their imagination. It's something that you might find on the internet, but they're not a significant amount of the buying audience. And that's why whenever companies hear those loud vocal minorities online that comprise the modern audience, they think these are the people that we need to pander to. But when they do that, they see that it actually is to their detriment. On top of this new data, YouTuber Dr. Disaster previously shared that the game had poor retail pre-orders. He stated this person runs 9 retail stores in a highly populated area, and I'm being told that in all 9 stores combined, there hasn't been a single pre-order for Unknown 9 Awakening. And I have recently contacted someone else who works in the retail industry who claims to run 14 stores. I am still vetting this person, and I will disclose this. I'm being told from this person that in those 14 stores, they also have not seen a single pre-order for Unknown 9 Awakening. Now, you could take this with a pinch of salt because we don't know who he's talking about. This is a small sample of all the retail outlets that would sell physical copies of this game. He even says he hasn't vetted this person himself, but still, we've seen with the active player count on Steam, it looks like there really just isn't a demand for this. Also, when you combine that with the lack of viewership on videos featuring this game, it seems like this is going to be another disaster. It is not surprising that the game appears to be a failure out of the gate, given consultancy Sweet Baby Inc. worked on it. Sweet Baby Inc. co-founder David Bedard and Kim Belair were listed in the game's credits section on an entry for the game for the Shorty Awards. And this really is, I think, the big thing about all this. Now, I'm not saying Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement is the reason why this game failed, but it definitely doesn't help. There's that Steam group, Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, which points out any game that not only Sweet Baby Inc., but also in other DEI consultancy firms are associated with. And if you scroll down here, where is it? I know I saw it on here somewhere. Yep, there it is. Awakening 9, Unknown 9 Awakening is not recommended on here. Mentioned involvement with Sweet Baby Inc. in the Shorty Awards official website, and that's why it's saying people shouldn't play this game. And I think a lot of gamers are actually understanding if a DEI consultancy firm is associated with your game, then you should probably give it a wide berth. And I'm not saying that because people don't like diversity or anything like that. The problem is when you have a company that puts diversity for diversity's sake at the forefront of their objective, well, then you're going to see problems like that behind the scenes too, because it's not so much that people don't like those type of characters, because we've seen plenty of media where they actually have good groups that would be considered diverse or marginalized that are well received. But yet when it comes to a game like this, when the studio is trying to put it at the forefront and make it part of identity politics, then you have to imagine, because this is how I look at it, it's basically a red flag or an indicator that there's something going on behind the scenes. Because it's not that a lot of these studios are hiring these companies because they don't know how to push diversity or whatever, or they don't want to push diversity and these companies force it on them. These game developers hire companies like Sweet Baby Inc. because they specifically want to push diversity for diversity's sake. And when you have a company like that, they're probably presumably hiring people for the same reason. They're not necessarily hiring the best people for the job. They're just hiring people because they're the best ones who fit in a certain demographic that they're trying to appease. So that means you're not necessarily getting the best people working on a product like this. So even if there's not marginal, like it could be a straight white man as the lead character in this game. But if you're hiring a company like Sweet Baby Inc., then it's an indicator that the studio producing it is probably not staffed with the best people. And we all know Sweet Baby Inc. is not necessarily the best people when it comes to video games and other stuff like that, or at least the stuff that they consult on hasn't really had a good track record. And that's why I think gamers, even if they don't consciously understand that, they intuitively know that having a company like Sweet Baby Inc. associated with your game is just a recipe for disaster. And it'll be a time eventually where game studios will understand not only Sweet Baby Inc., but just other DEI consultancy companies like this, that if you're going to hire them, then it's going to be a bad look for your product, and they're going to probably start doing away with them entirely. And I think Sweet Baby Inc. understands that, and all these other companies understand that. That's why they're mad about groups like this. They're trying to call it out, and they're trying to act like, oh, this doesn't bother us that people are criticizing them. But the fact that they keep bringing it up and keep trying to cancel a lot of the people pushing or like pointing out this sort of thing just goes to show that ultimately the pushback against these games and the people that are producing them is working. And I think it'll be some time, but eventually the gaming industry will come around, or it'll just collapse entirely. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.